Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon. How you doing? Nice to meet you. I hope you're doing so very well. Today I have an unhaul for you. I am not going to talk much about these books, maybe just tell you why I'm not keeping them, but apart from that, this is going to be a really quick, really fun video of me just unhauling some books because I needed the space to put new books. So if I didn't need the space, would I keep some of these? Probably, but because I need the space, I have to make some tough decisions, and that is why some of these have got to go. The first book I have here is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is actually my secondary school copy. I have kept this for like 8 years now, and I think I want to, if I ever have the want to reread this, I think I'm going to buy that like fancy hardback cloth bound edition. And this was like one of the ones through secondary school that I really enjoyed. This and To Kill a Mockingbird was two of my favourites that I read during school. And yeah, I think I've read it twice now, and I think if I want to have another edition, if I want to read it again, I would just buy the cloth bound version. The next book I have here is Dean Koontz, what is this called? The Eyes of Darkness. The reason I'm getting rid of this is because I don't like this copy. I received this in an Abominable Book Club box. It's so hard to say that, and it's really beat up, and it has this smell that I really don't like, and it's got stains on the pages, and this is a really beat up copy, and I feel like if I'm gonna read this, then I would prefer to have another edition, just because the smell and the grossness of this copy is like not something I'm into. So I could always buy it on Kindle. I am still interested in Dean Koontz's work. I would like to read some of it, but I would like to read it in an edition that doesn't smell. Next here we have Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart. I read We Were Liars by this author, which gets so much hype, and it was just okay. And I've had this book for so long, I have no interest in reading this, and the author didn't wow me to start off with, so like I've owned this for like 6 years. I don't need it anymore. I've read one, it was okay. I'm never going to read this, and I just have to be honest with myself on that. Next we have Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. I have read quite a few things from Jen Bennett in the past. I've tried to read this twice before. I've owned this for a long time. I've never read it, so I'm never gonna read it because I've had like, again, 6 years, if not longer, to read this, and I'm never gonna read it. And I believe this is now a film. So if I want to consume this story, I'll just watch the film. Again, like the same thing, The Serpent King by Jeff Zettner. I've owned this for so long. I'm never going to read it. If I was going to read it, I would have read it by now, or I would have put it on a TBR, or I would have just picked it up at some point. But again, I never get drawn to this. It's been so long. There's new books that are taking its place that I actively want to read. So unfortunately, this is going to go, and I feel bad because I've heard really good things about this, but I've just never reached for it, so pointless to keep. The next book I have is The Wizards of Once by Cressida Colwell. This is a middle grade story series, I believe, and it does have really cute drawings, and it does look really cool. But I'm not in a position where starting series I have slight interest in is like a thing. Like, I have so many series that I want to read, want to finish. I also have so many I want to start, and I feel like I'm not much of a middle grade reader, so starting another series, because I have one middle grade series on my to complete series list. I feel like adding another middle grade in there is like setting myself up for failure, because I don't read much middle grade, and I bought this because it was £1.25 and in really good condition, but I just have to be honest with myself. This is not something I'm going to reach for. It's not really something that's in my reading tastes. And I need to stop buying books just because they're cheap, because I feel like I do that a lot, and then I realise that I'm not going to read it, and then it's like a hassle trying to like get rid of it. So yeah, I'm never going to read this. So may as well go to someone who will probably love it. The next book is the exact opposite of Okay by Laura Stephen. I have tried to read this twice. I've had this for years. I've never managed to read it. It does sound really good, but again, I need to start being brutal and honest with myself. If I've tried to read this twice and it's not happening, there's a reason why it's not happening. And maybe I just don't mesh well with the way this story starts, and that's okay. So yeah, I hope someone else loves this, but I just couldn't mesh with it. The next one is Frankly in Love by David Rioun, and I've actually already read this. I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm never going to reread it. I think I gave this a 4 stars. It was a good book. I did enjoy it. I'm never going to reread it, so there's no point keeping it on my shelves. The next one is The Edge of Everything by Jeff Giles, and I believe this came in a book box of some sort. And again, this is part of a series. It's not one that I picked myself. Even though it does sound fairly interesting, it just doesn't sound as interesting as other series I have on my want to start list, or series I need to complete. So there's no point keeping it when I know that even if I did want to read this, I'm not going to start it for ages, because there's so many series that take precedent over this one. Pointless, you know? I can fill that space with something I might read soon. The next book I have here is The Reckless Afterlife of Harriet Stoker by Lauren James, and I did enjoy this. I gave it 4 stars. I read this for Spoopathon? No. I read it for something. I can't even remember what I read it for now. And this book was good and I did enjoy it. I just feel like once I've read it once and understand the ending, it wouldn't have the same impact upon reread, because the whole point is to get to like the ultimate end, and I know that now. I know the ending. Kind of like thrillers, I very rarely reread thrillers, because once you know, right? So, and this is like that book, like once you know, and there's no point rereading it. So it's gotta go. Next, the next 4 books are pretty controversial picks, to be fair. So don't come for me. This is just my opinion. I'm getting rid of Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I didn't like this book. I have a whole review on this book, and I think it's my first ever rant review that I've ever done. I will leave that link down below or on screen. I just didn't enjoy this, and I'm so bummed because it had so much hype, it had so much potential, and I also paid like £15 for this paperback, which I don't normally do, but I had so much faith I was gonna love this, and I ended up just I hated it. I didn't like it at all. So I am going to unhaul this to my friend Seffi, because I would really like them to read it. Seffi's always linked down below, by the way, and I really want their thoughts and their opinions to see if they match with mine, or to see if they enjoy it, which I don't think they will, but I need to know their thoughts. So this is getting unhauled to another home, which is good. And yeah, controversial, but I just did not like this book. The next 3, don't come for me, okay? We have Lady Midnight. Oh, they're in the wrong order. We have Lady Midnight. Woo, woo. We have Lady Midnight, Lord of Shadows, and Queen of Air and Darkness. This is a fucking huge book. Jesus, I'm whack myself in the face with it. These are going. I have tried reading Lady Midnight like 4 times by this point. Oh, I'm eating hair. Ugh. And I just can never get past the 100-page mark. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I don't... Ooh. Excuse me. Whew. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I can never get past the 100-page mark of this book. And it's so heartbreaking, because I liked the mortal instruments. I loved the infernal devices. I liked Chain of Gold. Like, I loved the Shadowhunter tales. I like this world. This world is really fun to be in, and I really enjoy it, but for some strange reason, this trilogy just doesn't work with my brain. So, unfortunately, these are going to have to go because they're taking up space on my shelf, and I just don't have any drive or want to actually try and read them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The next book is The House of Tongues by James Dashner. I received this in a box. I have no interest in this, to be honest. I feel like I've heard bad things about this author. I can't remember why or where from or what it was, but I feel like I've heard bad things about this author. And again, there's so much books in finite amount of time that reading something from an author that you don't hear good things about, or reading a book you haven't heard good things about, maybe isn't the best way to spend the time when you could pick up a book that you actually actively want to read. So yeah, this is not something I have much interest in. There's loads of other horror books out there that take my interest over this one, so there's no point keeping it. Next we have I hate saying this title, I'm Glad My Mum's Dead by Jeanette McCurdy. See, every time I say this title, I just feel like my mum, like, just slapping me over the head. And, and I don't know why. I just feel like I feel guilty for saying this out loud. But yeah, like, I read this. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think Jeanette McCurdy is a very brave, very strong woman. And I really am interested if she takes out anything else. I think if she took out a fictional book, I would definitely give it a try to see her writing in a fictional world. I do think it was a good move to do this as her first book out of the gate, and now she's living her dream in writing, which I absolutely love. But I'm gonna unhaul this to my mum because my mum wants to read it, and then I will give it to my sister because my sister wants to read it. So I'm unhauling this with the knowledge that is going to go to other people that will read it, and then I can talk to them about it. So I'm totally okay with that. And I also feel like this is not a book that I would reread. I wanted to know Jeanette McCurdy's story from her words, and I know that now, and I know her story. So now when I watch things and interviews and see her, I can go in with the knowledge of her story in her words, and now I can unhaul it and speak to other people that read it, which I'm happy with. And the final book I have here is The Other People by C.J. Tudor. I have read this. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. It was fine. I don't see myself rereading it, just because I know the twist. I know the twist. I also was kind of let down by this because, like, I'm pretty sure, like, it was meant to take a supernatural element, and it didn't, or it did when it wasn't. I can't remember. I remember the ending pretty well though, and I remember the story. Again, it's a thriller. It's not one that I'm gonna reread. It's not one that I loved enough to keep on my shelves. Like, if this was a 5-star thriller, then I would keep it on my shelves, and I may potentially reread after I've forgotten the plot and read loads of other books to forget what happens in this book. But because this is just 3-star, middle of the road, and it's a hardback taking up space, I'm never going to reread it. There is no point in keeping it. So yes, I'm getting rid of this. So this is it. This is my unhaul pile. It's really heavy. I'm going to put it down now. Do I have a thumbnail? I don't know. We're just going to have to hope I do. Oh no. Oh, use the double chin, Shannon. Use the power of the chin. Hey. Oh. So that is it. That is my unhaul for this part of the year. I think I'm very happy with myself because I've been doing more unhauls than I usually do, and I've been a bit more strict with myself on keeping books I haven't really enjoyed or keeping books that I'm never going to read. So I'm really happy with myself for making the effort to do these unhauls and clearing my shelves and keeping in the forefront of my mind and on my shelves the books that I actively want to read. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment down below if you have any strong feelings about any of these books. They are all going to go, so I'm probably not going to keep any of them. But let me know anyway what you think about all the books that I'm unhauling in the comments. I hope you have a great day, a great week, a great weekend, whenever the hell you're watching this. Remember to stay safe, happy and healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Pick it up from the top, hit restart. So far it's been so